Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me is Bobano, as he is every Tuesday. Bobano, hope you're doing well. It's been a busy last couple of days. The NFL and MLB and college football all running amok right now. How are you holding up?
Well, never mind me. How are you holding up? It's been an emotional roller coaster for you for the last 24 hours at the Jets. Up, down, and you ended up on an up after that incredible comeback and overtime win after you just basically told this team they were a piece of shit, really, when we were on our live stream last night.
They still are.
They still are, and they won that game, and credit to them, and they rallied around Aaron's injury, and there was a euphoria and an up at that point when they won that game, and then it's basically right back down into the gutter again when you hear the news confirmed, the news that everybody feared for the worst was going to be the ultimate reality, and it was. Torn Achilles, Aaron Rodgers, season over. You can't script this shit. Only to the New York Jets. 4 fucking snaps and the season's over for Aaron Rodgers, the guy that they centered this turnaround season around.
Yeah, it was pretty baffling. It was pretty baffling, to say the least. I hope the Jets lose every football game for the rest of the year so they can have a high draft pick.
I'm telling you right now, Jose, I'm not kidding around. I said this on Twitter. I threw it out there. If the Jets cannot waste this defense and the playmakers they have on offense this season and waste it on Zach Wilson or waste it on a big fat fucking question mark at the quarterback position, go out and get Nathan Rourke from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I would be okay with that.
Get him. He was terrific at college. He was an incredible player in the CFL last year with BC. We all saw the play he made in the preseason against Dallas. It was one of those Patrick Mahomes Houdini plays. I guarantee you, Zach Wilson doesn't have that in his playbook. I can guarantee you that. It's worth a shot. We don't know if he's good enough to be QB1 in the NFL, but he's damn sure, in my opinion, better than anything you've got right now with a higher ceiling than anything you've got right now.
Yeah, no, I'm still in a depression about that. It's just ridiculous. 4 plays, just sickening. But let's get into baseball here because
you can't punt on the season if you're the Jets. You can't punt on the season even without Aaron Rodgers. You got to try to make something out of this season with that defense and those playmakers. Get Nathan Rourke. All right, on to baseball.
I'd be okay with Jameis Winston too. Shout out to Jameis Winston. But baseball comes here. We're rocking pretty nice in baseball. I forget what my official record is up to now. 2.06 units up on the year, 412, 409, and 67 pushes in there. So we're still up over there, and we're gonna have another pretty heavy, high volume day here. I've already unfortunately lost one bet in the Red Sox -1 in game 1, which was exceedingly annoying, and we'll get to all these games here in a second. But let's start off with the team that we continue to bet every day, the Baltimore Orioles, with John Means actually pitching this time. I thought he was pitching yesterday, and I talked about for 5 minutes that I was talking about for John Means until I realized it's Dean Kramer. So shout out to everyone in the chat for letting me know. I said all I really needed to say about John Means yesterday. He was the Cy Young candidate on the Orioles when they were bad. Now he gets to come back to when they were good, and I'm excited to see what he does. He's pitched well in the rehab starts. He's a good lefty, and now he's pitching to see if he can make the playoff roster. So Orioles -1, 8 to juice at -139. Bobana, what do you think?
Yeah, mine was a little higher. I got -145, but I'm on the same bet, and I was on the same bet last night. Baltimore -1 has been on my betting card in baseball probably 18 of the last 20 days or something like that. It's been remarkable. It's just the way that the schedule's panned out. They played teams that they're better than, quite honestly. Teams I'm looking to bet against. Team I'm looking to bet on versus a team I'm looking to bet against. So it's pretty simple. So, yeah, I'm with you with the -1. A few concerns about Means. He hasn't pitched at the big league level in a while, but you mentioned the rehab starts look good. And to be honest with you, John Means, the D+ game from John Means tonight is probably better than anything Adam Wainwright's throwing out right now for the St. Louis Cardinals. So no problem taking Baltimore -1. Did grab a little over 10.5 as well.
Beautiful. Let's keep it rolling here. Orioles -1 for us. Real quick on the market before we move on, actually. Unsurprising. 83% of the bets, 88% of the money on the Orioles. And 94% of the bets, 94% of the money on the Orioles there as well. Or sorry, on the over there as well. All right, next game, Nationals Pirates. Kind of the same thing as I said yesterday. The Nationals got that win yesterday, and then yet again the Pirates are minus 140 here, and I just found that baffling. I just don't think they should be minus 140 against really anyone here. So yet again, it's probably Nationals or pass for me. But I didn't move on this game. A Don Falter, just not a game that I very much want to bet on. And I know that Bailey Falter has been bad, to say the least. So admittedly, I am warming up more on the idea of betting the Nationals. What do you think, Bobano?
Yeah, Bailey Falter hasn't been good though either. I mean, yeah, he's gone from bad to maybe somewhat decent, but it's nothing spectacular, nothing to write home about for him going into this matchup. Unfortunately, I don't think all that highly of Yoan Adon here for the Washington Nationals. You look at what he's done; he's had some rough starts. Miami roughed him up. Philadelphia roughed him up. Last time out against the Mets actually was a better start from him. 2 runs, 6 hits, 5 innings, but the Mets are a hodgepodge up and down kind of lineup. I guess you could say that about Pittsburgh, but I definitely think it's a pitcher I don't trust. And on the flip side, like I say, I'm not a big fan of Bailey Falter. And in theory, the Nationals a little bit better against the left-handed side, should be able to do damage. So I lean Nationals, but I felt the total was actually the better look. So over 9, and bullpens had to use a lot of relievers last night. So you could see some late runs as well.
Yep, I like that overlook. That makes sense. 57% of the bets, 60% of the money on the Pirates. And on the total, 80% of the money, 80% of the bet, 77% of the money on the over there. No action for me. No action for me in this next game either in Braves Phillies. A good matchup, obviously. Probably the best game of the day to watch. But no action here. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it'll be very much a playoff atmosphere kind of vibe because of the Braves and the Phillies meeting already once, and et cetera, et cetera. We've been through that plenty of times before. So I lean under, if anything, in this game, but I think that's just a little bit too square for me to bet. So I passed here, Bobana. What do you think?
Yeah, this is one where I certainly am not looking to bet an under with these two lineups right now. We saw Atlanta and Philly, just 2 games that flew over the total in their doubleheader yesterday, albeit this is a much stronger pitching matchup than anything we saw yesterday. But Fried's been a little hit or miss since he's returned. He's had some good starts. He's had some starts where he's been roughed up, believe it or not, as well. Since he's returned from the IL. And I'd certainly lean Phillies as far as the side goes, because Atlanta's not a team I'm looking to back down the stretch. They've, cruising to the NL East Championship. It's just basically get these games done and let's get the postseason going. And obviously for the Phillies, they're trying to solidify their hold on the WC1, if you will, the first wild card spot. Wheeler usually a little bit better at home. Nothing for me, though, in this game. I passed.
Yeah, if you had to make me gun to head, I'd probably take the Phillies, just because Wheeler's record of pitching well against the Braves. But otherwise, pass game for me. Let's go to our next game, Cincinnati, Detroit. The Reds versus the Tigers here, and it features my first bets. And Bobano, I have been using your Bobano split quite often these last couple of days, and it's one here. This line just reeked of fishiness for me, Bobano. Minus 118 for the Reds was just super cheap, and I was shocked to see it. Joey Wentz has been horrible this year, and at plus 108 at home, I was like, wow, that's weird. So, you look into the line and all that, the percentages, 52% of the bets, 77% of the money on the over in this game, 68% of the bets, 91% of the money on the Reds in this game. And the line has finally started to tick their way a little bit, but just honestly, just not enough. And it makes me feel like the Tigers are live in this game. And I think we can see a good performance here from their offense or Joey Wentz here. Just fielder's choice, whichever one you want to believe in. So this opened up at minus 120 and dropped down to minus 115 at one point, and has come back up to minus 120. So I think the Tigers are live here. So Tigers first 5 full game for me, plus 107 full game, minus 105 first 5.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of this one, but I only took the full game here with Cincinnati minus 118. I just don't think there's much to like about Joey Wentz. He hasn't been good at Comerica. He hasn't been really good anywhere. And there are concerns about Williamson, though. He hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks. Remember, COVID still does exist. He actually tested positive for COVID Brandon Williamson. So that's why he's missed the last couple of starts. I still think he's the much better arm. I think he's going to develop into a nice, I would say, third pitcher in a good rotation. And, I think he can be that kind of pitcher down the road for the Reds, and they have some promising arms. He's been solid. I just trust him a lot more, and I've been impressed more with him than Joey Wentz. And to me, this is just a very reasonable price on the better baseball team as well. So for me, it's Reds full game here, -118.
Yeah, honestly, I expected this line to be like -150 for the Reds. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overvaluing how bad Joey Wentz is, but I'm on him today, so it should be a fun game to keep an eye on. Another fun game to keep an eye on, this a gigantic series for both of these teams, Rangers, Blue Jays. Now, as of right now, both of these teams are in the playoffs. The season ended today. The Mariners found themselves on the outside looking in. But this is gigantic for both squads. I mean, they're battling it out here. Second and third wild card spots obviously mean a lot. Home field, et cetera, et cetera. But man, I was on the Rangers last night, first 5 full game, both cash for me pretty easily. But I want to bet the Blue Jays here again, or go to the other side, I should say, and bet the Blue Jays here. But I don't know what to do, Bobano. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on your squad here.
I think what you do is you bet over, or you bet nothing. I chose to bet nothing in this game. Scherzer, I'm telling you what, it hasn't been all that spectacular since his whole season hasn't been great. But since he's arrived at Texas, he's had some really poor showings, and he got absolutely hammered by the Houston Astros in his last start. Obviously, we know this is a bulldog mentality he has. He takes pride in having a bad start and wanting to bounce back. And maybe you get that old school Max Scherzer off a bad start and he pitches lights out, and a lot better. And we know the Blue Jays can make pitchers look good sometimes with this lineup that can hit one day and just dick all the next. So, it'll be interesting to see what you get from them here tonight. Ryu, though, he's been actually solid since he's rejoined the rotation. More good than bad out of Hyun-Jin Ryu, certainly since he's been back. The one thing that's scaring me off the over is the move down in the total, and the fact it was such a high-scoring affair last night that a lot of times you're going to see, both pitchers bear down and pitch better on a night like this in a big game like this. So lean over for me. Nothing on the side. I want to fade Texas, but I've seen enough of Toronto to know, and they proved it to me. Why did I not take Toronto last night? Because I didn't trust them in a big game of this magnitude, even against a slumping, careening sideways Texas Rangers team. And sure enough, the Blue Jays proved me right. Couldn't trust them. I don't trust them here tonight, but I don't want any part of betting Texas. Texas is a fade or nothing for me right now, but I don't think the Blue Jays are a team I trust enough to go through with the fade. So lean over, but pass.
Yeah, I was really close to betting the Blue Jays, honestly. It's just a little bit of a lack of trust with them. Now, I will say, let's see here, 59% of the bets, 82% of the money on the Rangers here, and this opened up at -110. It's kind of ticked down. It's gone back up, So I do lean that way. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, or playoff vibes, et cetera, but I think the Blue Jays find a way to win this game, and it'll be very interesting going forward because, again, this is a 4-gamer, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 4 games,
yep, 4.
And it's gigantic. So we'll see. And obviously the Rangers play the Red Sox next week as well. So that'll be interesting to see how they do against them as well. Next, Arizona, New York Mets. I broke one of my rules here. I've just not been betting on bum-ass teams that are both kind of not in the playoffs. And I said this earlier today, and I had to correct myself because the Diamondbacks are in there, but the Mets are obviously kind of listless. They hired David Stearns, I believe. I don't know why. His name's David Stearns. I think of someone. No, that's the old fucking.
Rest in peace, David Stern, the NBA commissioner.
Yeah.
That's who you
see. They hired. I see. Obviously, I'm getting my names mixed up, but the Mets hired fucking Stearns from the Brewers, whatever his name is, to run their shit now. And I'm very interested to see how that all shakes out for the Mets. Probably the decision that Steve Cohen should have made a couple of years ago, but whatever. It's interesting, Bobano, because we'll check the market here again. Earlier today was wonky, but yeah, it's 43% of the bets, 66% of the money on the over here. But let's go to this money line sidewise here. 47% of the bets, 64% of the money on the Diamondbacks, and yet the line is continuing to move towards the Mets here. This opened up for me on Bet Online, and shout out to Bet Online as always. This opened up for me on Bet Online at minus 107 for the Diamondbacks, and it's just kept creeping towards the Mets the entire day here. Now it's at minus 112 for the Mets. So I doubled up on them. First five money line minus 112, full game money line minus 109, Bobano. Just so ye old reverse line movement. What do you think here?
Ye old pass for me. I don't want nothing to do with these two teams. I certainly don't want to lay a price with the Mets. I mean, it's a much bigger game for Arizona, and it is a better team, Arizona. But Ryan Nelson, to me, on the road is not someone I've been fully willing to embrace at any point this season. We'll see what we get on the other side. Total 9.5, and I don't have the utmost confidence in the two pitchers, but I thought there were two worse pitchers on the mound last night, and that game still stayed under the total. So 9.5 actually looks, with the inconsistency of the lineups right now on both sides, looks a little high to me.
Yeah, shout out to Pete. He bet the under 10 earlier this morning as well. So shout out to old Peter Loshak there. Let's go to next Miami, Milwaukee Brewers here. JT Chargois and Mr. Freddie Peralta on the bump. Now, this total has dropped down. This was 8th earlier this morning, now 7.5. We're getting Edward Cabrera after JT. I like Edward. He's been pitching pretty well this year. He's had his moments of brilliance, had his moments of shit, obviously. And Freddie, I just don't know what to expect from Freddie all the time, Bobano. And referring back to old Peter earlier today, he thinks that Freddie might be heading into a slump here as well. So he leaned on the Miami Marlins as well. I had no feel on this game. What did you have?
This one, look, I was tempted by Miami. Let's put it that way. And Miami's actually done okay in these games, whereas JT Chargois, has ended up starting these games as an opener for the Marlins. And as much as I like fast Freddie Peralta here for the Brewers, he's had a little bit more of a rockier go of it here in some of these recent outings. Last time he labored through Pittsburgh, 3 runs, 4 hits, 5.1 innings. He did win 4 straight starts before that. And he has pitched well against the Marlins. Hasn't faced them this year, but last year shut him out and gave up just 4. Has actually given up a grand total of just 4 runs in 13 innings against the Marlins. And he has still pitched pretty well overall, but I just felt a little high maybe on the Milwaukee side, although they did smash the Marlins 12-0 last night, shutting them out. It was a brilliant start from Woodruff. And, of course, they got to Jesus Luzardo. Sometimes I like to back teams off a loss like that. And obviously Miami, while it's not looking good for them as far as the wild card goes, they still got to push forward and try to hang into this race. So just a slight lean to Miami. I didn't feel good enough, though, to bet it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I lean Miami, but I don't want to bet it either. I don't know. I don't remember if Pete bet it either as well. 58% of the bets, 59% of the money on the Brewers here, and totals wise, 80% of the money and 80% of the bets, but 99% of the money on the under. Wow. Pretty shocking there. Again, we've talked about that all the time on this program. If it's like 99% of the money on one side, I just naturally lean the other way. But nothing for me here. Let's go to our Tampa Bay Rays here, Minnesota Twins game. A very interesting game. This is the real baseball heads game here. Zach Littell coming off probably the best start of his career, 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run versus Seattle Mariners against Joe Ryan, who we both have loved at several points throughout the season. Bobano, he went on the IL to kind of get right, came back. His last few starts have been pretty good. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against the Guardians. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned runs against the Rangers. I kind of like the Twins here, but I bet them first 5 full game yesterday, and it burned me. So kind of hesitant today. Line has moved towards the Rays too here. So it doesn't seem like there's going to be any action for me on this one, Bobano. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a pass for me. I think the better pitcher is Joe Ryan. And when I see the better pitcher, I kind of want to back the better pitcher. But I ain't fading Tampa Bay as a dog when they are the better of these two teams. They've won every game against the Twins this year. They played 4 times. Tampa swept Minnesota at the Trop back in June. They won the first game last night, 7-4. The better team from the better division, the much better, tougher division as a dog. That's not the value I'm looking for here with Minnesota, even though I like Joe Ryan. So it's a pass.
Yep, pass for me here as well. Just not interesting. Just not an interesting game at all. So shout out to everyone watching the program as always. We appreciate you guys like BJ, Rick J, Markel, Fly White, Mike, Andrew G, all in here. You guys can see BJ's best bets in the chat right there. I'm on the Orioles as well. He's on the Giants money line. We'll talk about that game here shortly. Shout out to everyone as always. Hit the like button while you guys are here. Jacqueline, Rocco, Philly Eagle Flyer, all in here. Nasty Nate, Fat Cat Ninja in here as well. So appreciate all you guys. Hit the like. And we've got a busy day of programming here on Pub Sports Radio. So definitely keep an eye out tonight as well. Let's go to what has, they're slowly becoming one of my favorite teams again. The Oakland A's versus the Houston Astros here. I'm thinking off the top of my head now. I have my last 4 bets on the Oakland A's here. I've cashed 3 of the 4, and then that one I didn't cash was a push. They've just been a cash cow for me this last week or so. I bet them plus 1.5 last night. Obviously, easy casher there. And here they are at minus 300, or they're facing a minus 300 Astros team. And my rules dictate that I should probably take the plus 1.5 yet again here. And I think I'm going to end up doing that. Obviously, you want to talk it out, and I'm assuming that everyone's going to tell me not to do it, et cetera, et cetera. This is the Astros, Justin Verlander. They're a juggernaut. They're facing a lefty, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just been extremely profitable for me. So I'm probably going to move on Oakland plus 1.5 here, Bobana. What do you have to say about this game?
Yeah, I'm actually going a step further. A small bet, very small, but I grabbed even a step further here at plus 260 on the Oakland Athletics here. Actually, plus 268 at Pinnacle with the best price I could find on it. It's just, and look, let's give Oakland their due here. The last 10 games, they have a winning record, 6-4. I mean, to me, this is just too big of a price. And that's what you bet. You don't bet teams, you bet prices, you bet numbers. I mean, that's often what you should be thinking of sports betting in that way. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Look, I've seen the Astros lose games in this price range against teams they should beat. We saw it last night. Not quite to this range. Houston as a favorite last night, but still pretty big favorite, losing 4-0 to the Oakland Athletics. Now, I do worry, that's a slap in the face. They wake up from it. They rack J.P. Sears, who, of course, was a lefty that they should be able to do some damage against here. And they were able to when he faced them back in July. Sears gave up 5 runs, 8 hits. That being said, when he pitched in Houston here at Minute Maid, the juice box, he only gave up 2 runs in 6 innings to this Houston team. He pitched pretty well. And they lost the game 3-2, but he gave them a chance, in that game. And look, we know Verlander, what he's capable of, but he did get roughed up by the Yankees a couple of starts ago. Other than that, he's had 3 really good starts in a row. And there's a potential he does shut down this A's lineup, which he did pretty well last year as a member of the Astros. But at this price, I'm willing to take a shot. Nothing significant, but plus 268. Just had to take a shot at that price for a team that 6-4 in their last 10 shouldn't be at that type of price range.
Yeah, and by the way, Rocco mentioned a great point. We mentioned it as well earlier today, but they got shut down. The Astros did by Ken Waldichuk last night, I believe, after the opener of Mason Miller. And now they face another one back-to-back nights. That's obviously a concern there. But, got to stick to the rules. So Oakland plus 1.5, plus 126 for me. DT like an Oakland team total as well. And Bobano liking the little sprinkle on the money line. All right. Next game on our slate here. And thank you guys as always. We're moving through these games at a brisk pace, so we appreciate you guys. Rockies versus the Cubs here. Everyone knows my bet here. They're juiced, unfortunately, but that's what it is when you face the Rockies. -1 for the Cubs here. -150. Honestly, I probably should be comfortable taking a -2 with the Cubs here because this total is just ballooning up and up and up. 11.5 this morning, now to 12, now to 12.5. It's just up, and up. And sure, I get it. Chris Flexen's horrible, and this is Javier Assad's first time in Coors Field. But I just can't take a number that high. So no thanks on the total. Cubs -1, easy play for me. As we've mentioned many times, we're making this play every day. So that's what that is. Bobana, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I certainly had some interest in the over, but 12.5 just got a little too rich once it got that high. Even though the last two Chris Flexen starts here in, well, not just here in Colorado, but just overall, I've had 17 and 22 total runs. So maybe it can
Jesus.
get up and over this total, but I lean that way. It's just not at 12. And I actually kind of like Assad. He's not that bad. And we don't know how he's going to pitch in Colorado. You would think first time in Colorado, there's more of a chance that a younger pitcher will struggle than pitch well, but sometimes that's not always the case. And Assad's form is actually not that bad. You go back to August 16th, 5 starts, and he's only given up 9 runs over those 5 starts, spanning 31 innings. That's pretty respectable, for Javier Assad here in this going into this game against Colorado. So again, tough environment. He's never been pitched here before. And I could certainly only make a case for the over with Flexen involved, but 12.5 just seemed a little too high for me to want to take it, to bet it.
I agree. I'm on those Cubs -1. Let's keep cash saturated in Troy. Got a push yesterday. It was kind of a fortunate push too, so we'll take that. Let's get into those double headers. Game 2 of these double headers. Obviously, we'll talk about the Red Sox, Yankees first, and then we'll talk about Royals, White Sox. Royals, White Sox going on right now, so kind of hard to, bet that, but whatever. Game 2 of the Red Sox game starting soonish. Yankees win game 1, 3-2. Extremely, extremely, extremely annoying end to the game. Alex Verdugo just gifting the Yankees a double play. I will give you guys, this is not a surprise to a lot of people that follow the Red Sox, but the Jose guarantee, Alex Verdugo will not be on the Red Sox next year. So mark that down in your calendars. He'll get traded at some point, which will be sad to see, but just not good enough, unfortunately. And, the Red Sox lose game 1, but here's the thing about doubleheaders. We all kind of know it. These things are kind of, meant to split. I think the Yankees might be satisfied. That's their second win against the Red Sox all season. Now I think it's 9-2 of the Red Sox are against them. But, I'll just keep betting the Red Sox here. I bet them in game 1 -1. I bet them in game 2 -1 earlier today as well. Plus 121 on the -1 here with Cutter Crawford against Carlos Rodon, who, I'll look up the Red Sox numbers against lefties, but he is in desperate need of a good start just for the Yankees fans' morale over there. This since August 1st, it's been 20th for the Red Sox, 89 weighted runs created plus. So not the best, but I'm still on the -1 here, Bobana. What do you think?
Yeah, I almost took Boston here, and actually it makes more sense, I think, to take them now after they lost the first game of that doubleheader, and I favor Crawford a little bit over Rodon, although Crawford's been crushed in his last 2 starts. He's kind of gone backward here against good teams, though, Houston and Tampa, but still 11 runs allowed in just 5 innings, so he's been smashed all of a sudden here, Crawford, the last 2 starts. Rodon, I don't trust. 7 runs allowed in his last start against the Tigers. Like I said, definitely strong lean, in fact, to Boston. But I'd rather do other things than bet this game and a game involving these 2 teams head to head. So just a lean.
I agree. And Vitalis, he needs it for his, Yankee fan morale, not the teams. He just needs a good start so Yankees fans don't fucking hate his guts already. Which is already the case because he's been stinking. So just a him thing, not a team thing. But I hope the Red Sox don't fucking lose this game. It'd be embarrassing to get swept in this fucking doubleheader. So we'll move on here, and it'll be nice. I can still be plus money in the doubleheader if I get this Red Sox -1 here. So losing a -109, winning that plus 121 will be great. So, all right, let's go to the next game. The other doubleheader, White Sox Royals. It's tough to talk about this game. I don't even know the score of the fucking game going on right now, Bobana, so you could enlighten me on that one. But it's just an easy pass to lean to the over. Probably lean towards the Royals underdog spot here, especially if they lose game 1. So I just know that game 1 is high scoring right now. That's all I know about it, really. So, Bobana, take it away. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I like over, definitely. Makes sense to me. I don't like either pitcher, Lyles and Toussaint. You already see 5 runs, although they're all White Sox runs, but 5 runs are on
Jeez.
the board in the first game of this doubleheader with Cease and Singer. I think we're going to see runs here. These are 2 just brutal pitchers. They've had terrible. Lyles has had just a ridiculously bad season. Toussaint had a couple of good starts there for a while, but he's come back down to earth here. So, over 9.5. To me, that's the only bet move to make.
Yeah, hey, and Brady Singer, I guess, is living up to his 6 ERA on the road this year. Jeez, that's tough. Yeah, I guess I lean Royals, especially because they're getting blown out in this first game. So very interesting. All right, let's go to our non-doubleheader portions of the evening. Let's start with the Los Angeles Angels, Seattle Mariners here. Brian, woo, back in our life again versus Patrick Sandoval, who, Pete's gonna fade him here and fade him pretty hard. So shout out to Pete. It's been tough for me to fade him. I gotta have a little bit of a bias towards him, I guess, from the Baseball World Classic, seeing him pitch so well there. But he's definitely run out of gas here, Bobano, and I could easily see the case for the Mariners. I'll mention the market real quick before I pass it to you here. The market in this game, 81% of the bets and 64% of the money on the Seattle Mariners there. And on the total, we've got 70% of the bets and 59% of the money on the over. Bobana, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go right back to the over here like last night. And look, I got a little fortune with the extra innings, and that's what it took for that game to go over 7.5. But I thought it was a little low considering what we've seen from the lineups and the pitching specifically from these 2 teams lately. And kind of feel that way. Wu is a strikeout guy, but he can also get a hit. It's been a weird dynamic with him where strikes out a lot of opposing hitters, but he also can leave his pitches exposed up in the zone. And when he misses his location, he can get hit hard. We've seen that at times with Wu, although he's got electric stuff. There's no question about that. But maybe the Angels can get a few runs here against him. And certainly Seattle's bullpen hasn't been great. We saw it again last night. And the Angels bullpen we know is not really good. And Sandoval, you're right, has kind of fallen backward, and Seattle should be able to do damage. So I saw 7.5 when it opened. It's up to 8. I agree with the move. I think this is another one. And plus, both bullpens taxed after last night's game. So definitely some reasons to expect we could see runs again with the Angels and Mariners.
Fair enough. I'm off this game, and I'm excited to talk about this next game, Bobano. Cleveland Guardians, San Francisco Giants. Now, this has been, I guess, the most dramatic line movement of the day, just chugging along towards the Giants here, and Sean Manaea starting a game, which has kind of been rare this season. Opened up at minus 132, now minus 165. This is one of those spots that shout out to our guy, Troy Torrance. You can see him later today on Bankroll Blitz with Jimmy. He's talked and preached about all year. There's more money and more bets on the home team, 64% of the bets, 59% of the money on the Giants, and the line moving that way. It's just been a cash cow for him all year. So I'll jump on and I'll take the Giants -1 here. I got it at minus 120. Our guy BJ made that his 5-unit bet, I believe, as well. So I'm going to jump on board. Getting in the car, as they're calling it in Boston nowadays. Giants -1, minus 120 for me, Bobana. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm doing the Lee Corso here. Not so fast, my friend. I ain't laying this price with Sean Manaea. No way. Now, the concern is Cleveland may be looking like they're tapping out, right? It's been a difficult season. Now there's whispers if Terry Francona is going to retire at the end of the season, and it's starting to look like they're running on fumes. Like they haven't played great ball. They're 3-7 their last 10 games. They lost 3 out of 4 against a bad Angels team. They lose the opener. Like this is not a team, that's in good form right now, Cleveland. And truly, we know San Francisco's got everything to play for right now, for sure. But I still can't resist taking a plus price with what I think is the better pitcher. And look, say what you will about Quantrill's early season struggles, but you got to divide it. Pre-IL stint, post-IL stint. Since he's been back here in September, 2 runs allowed in 12 innings. Against Tampa and the Angels in 2 starts. Pitched well in both outings. He's pitched really well, actually. So I like what I've seen from Cal Quantrill here the last 2 starts. And Manaea as a starter, I ain't buying it. He wasn't even that great as a reliever consistently. As a starter, he gave up 4 runs or more in 4 of his 5 starts. The last time we saw him in a starting role, he gave up 8 runs in 2.2 innings against the Washington Nationals. That's not the profile of a pitcher I want to lay minus 165 with. Again, concerns about Cleveland's form, but and this is kind of like in that Oakland type of stratosphere for me. Just a small bet, but had to take something with the Guardians here at this price and who I think the better pitcher is in this matchup.
I thought you were about to pull out a Chief Wahoo hat, Bo Bano, and say, not so fast, and wave a pencil around and put the mascot head on. So shout to our guy Corso there. It'd be hilarious if one day he just turned up and just threw on a
Should have done the full,
head.
the full ritual there. Yeah, the full Corso impression. Yeah.
I like the Giants here. It's going to be an interesting game. That line movements is very interesting, and I'm hoping that it's an indication of what things are to come there. Last game on our slate, I took an L on this last night, but this is one of those spots that I've said that I will just bet against or bet on a team against a certain opponent. The Dodgers against the Padres in the regular season will just be a bet for me going forward. I'm going to try to make this a thing in my capping every year. Dodgers just beat up on them. Obviously, the Padres win last night on the back of Manny Machado basically by himself here. And now I'm going to put my fucking hopes in Lance Lynn, who I've shit-talked probably the most out of any pitcher in baseball here. I've thought he's been bad all year. Had a little renaissance with the Dodgers when he got there. They changed up his arsenal. Then he's gotten crushed in his last two appearances. So I'm going to hope that another start against the Padres can get him back going. He faced the Padres in his second start when he was with the Dodgers. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 2 walks. So hoping the Dodgers can get off here on Michael Wacha and Lance Lynn does his thing. So -1 here again for me, -112 this time for the Dodgers.
Yeah, this is another one. I'm on the pods here at plus 140 with Wacha in this matchup. Wacha, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's pitching, for the most part, really well. And against the Dodgers, he's had a rough go. That's definitely a concern. But a lot of those starts were a few years ago. I haven't seen him yet this year. And to me, this is just, I don't like what I see at all from Lance Lynn. Just missing a ton of, not missing many bats, 15 runs in his last 8.2 innings of work. Just absolutely dreadful numbers. Now, he did shut down the Padres when he faced them in August in San Diego. He was in a better form at that time. Let's see if he can do it again here in this one. But yeah, to me, this is just with Lynn in this form. Keep in mind, the Dodgers are another one of those teams where, there's not a lot for them to strive for down the stretch. And I guess you could say that about the Padres too. Their season's just basically tanked. But at this price, plus 140 with the Padres, I didn't mind taking that number. Lean over the total 9 as well.
This could be a very painful night for one of us, Bobetto, because we are on the opposite sides of many things, which is just kind of funny to see, but it'll make our nights very interesting to say the least here, Bobano. Let's recap our action here as we burn through a hell of a baseball card here today. Bobano, I'll let you go first. What's on your card?
Yeah, this is not like, again, where the cards are legitimate, even for someone that's very high volume. The cards have been real short, much shorter lately. So here we go. Washington, Pittsburgh over 9, -110. San Diego plus 140. And I did, in fact, make it official. San Diego Dodgers over 9, -120. Kansas City, Chicago White Sox over 9.5, -105 for game 2 of the doubleheader. Oakland plus 268. Angels, Mariners over 7.5, -122. Baltimore -1, -145 full game run line, and St. Louis, Baltimore over 10.5, -120. Cincinnati -116, and Cleveland plus 150.
It's going to be a fun day. People in the chat going back and forth about plays as well. This is good banter today, lads. Good banter. Let's see how everything plays out. My picks today: Orioles -1, -139. Cubs -1, -150. Dodgers -1, -112. Red Sox game 2 -1, +121 there. Tigers first 5 and full game double up there. First 5 -105, full game +107. Mets double up, first 5 full game -112 and -109 there. And the 2 additions from the show: Oakland A's +1.5 yet again, +126, and the Giants -1, -120 here for me, Bobano. Thank you as always for joining me. We sit at, like I mentioned earlier in the show, 412, 409, and 67, up 2.06 units on the year, and trying to just keep on climbing because now we're up out of the negative capper zone, the loser zone. Let's try to stay up there in the winning capper zone. So, but Bano, I appreciate it. When's the next time we can see you on the channel?
Yeah, Friday, back in the saddle with Jimmy the Bag on Betting with the Bag, Friday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. So it'll be CFL, college football for Friday, and MLB that will be breaking down on the card. I'll be back possibly on PubHub, NFL PubHub on Sunday morning as well. And then, of course, back with Hitting the Books and this show next week.
Yep. Well, we can't wait to have you.
And
next
Monday
week,
night, Monday Night Live. I'll be on that. And actually, I should correct myself too. I might jump on at the very beginning of Thursday night's NFL football live stream with Mike M. Pimp Slap POD. That's going to maybe become the new tradition of that show as I jump on before the game kicks off, pregame bets, sides, totals, player props for the game. Then I jump off at kickoff. So stay tuned. I might be back on that Thursday night.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Bobano, a busy man here. The busy season is here.
Monday night, I'm actually on it for the whole first half of the game. Yeah.
Well, you're out everywhere, Bobano.
Yep.
Is the summary of that story.
Summer's over now. It's back to shows and work.
Yep, it's gonna be fun, and hopefully your Tiger Cats are picking up themselves out of the gutter here as well.
Yeah, they're up and down like a yo-yo. Win one, lose one, up, down, and they got a tough one with Winnipeg on Saturday. But I'll be there, hoping for the best, as always.
All right, beautiful work, Bobano. Thank you as always for joining me. Follow Bobano, Ian Cameron on Twitter at Bobano. You can see that on screen. Follow me on Twitter at Jose Bouquett. Thanks everyone in the chat here. J Dub, BJ, Memorabilia, 1777, Londo, Vitalis, Justin McElvey, Fat Cat, Daryl Turner, Nasty Nate was in here, Ricky Bobby, all you guys, Rick J, Jacqueline, the lurkers who don't comment. We appreciate you guys as well. Hit the like button on your way out. Say hey. We'll see you guys next time.